I had a sort of a bit of an ache round this area, you know, which I had had for a wee while. But then one day my good lady said, "Why don't you go and see the doc?" We did have a biopsy, which wasn't very pleasant. He came round and he said, "Well, you know, you've got cancer." Well, I think they thought in there I had had a heart attack, because as soon as he said it, I said, "I don't feel well." I don't feel well. I wasn't laughing at the time.
No, of course not.
And I obviously conked out. I must have fainted. So they must.
Did you actually faint?
I faint, yeah. Completely out, yeah. It's the Law family trait. We don't like hearing bad news and whatever. So it was one of those, you know, there were several things that you could have done, and I didn't fancy this sort of radiotherapy. I didn't fancy the other one, which I don't want to mention. I'd rather get rid of whatever I've got. Just operate and take it all off. So
the radical prostatectomy.
Yeah.
My doctor, my GP, I went to for 4 years, and he didn't seem to be unduly worried that my PSA, that's the prostate antigen, specific antigen.
I'm glad you remember it.
Yeah, well, I just about remembered it. It kept going up at a fairly alarming rate. So I said to him, you know, what we're going to do about this? He said, well, he says, I could send you to the hospital to get this biopsy.
Right.
He said, but you don't want to go there. And I said, why? He said, because it's very invasive, it's nasty. And then one day I got the call from him. I'm 13.9 in the Richter scale, as it were. And it's all hell that lets loose. And I said to them, I've got cancer, haven't I? And they turned around and said, you have.
Right.
I'm afraid, got cancer. They told me like that.
Right.
But you had a 3-week kind of wait. What we men are like, 3 weeks.
We're cowards.
3 weeks. And it's marinating in your head. What's going on? How much? Did you lose weight in those 3 weeks? Sweat?
Yeah, well, I wasn't that heavy anyway, but I did lose a few. Yeah, I'm a very worrying man. I couldn't, as I said, when I conked out, that was when he said, you've got cancer. And that was after, you know, they'd done the biopsy or whatever, so it wasn't very pleasant.
Let's move it on. So you get the operation.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a fairly major operation, right? And then we go into I think you once described it as a one flew over the cuckoo's nest syndrome.
Well, of course, we had the tube and everything, you know, couldn't go to the toilet as normal people go for a wee while.
So you have a catheter?
I've got the bag there, which wasn't very pleasant, but you have to do it, haven't you? That's the thing. I didn't have it that long, but I just, you know, I thought, I've landed up with a bag here. I can't even go to the toilet, you know, just...
How soon were you up on your feet?
I wasn't too bad actually, but I was supposed, it's such a long time now, you forget whatever, but the family looked after me, everybody's looking after me. Probably I got back on my feet probably about 3 months later, which wasn't too bad, you know, back into the world, you know, so everybody was very sympathetic, which was great, because I got a free cup of tea here, and bacon and egg there, so for a while it was quite good.
When you came out of the anaesthesia, were you in intensive care at all? Because I was brought into intensive care. I must have been fairly poorly at the time.
Right, no, I wasn't, no.
Well, the next day I remember, the first day was a fog.
No.
And I was very ill, I was sick and whatever. And then the next day I remember seeing all the apparatus around me. Right. And I just didn't know what to make of this.
And you think you're not going to see the family again, you're not going to see the grandchildren. There's lots, you know, just like, why me, you know? Then of course you find out you're not alone anymore. There is thousands, as we know. And I've been doing stuff for cancer research for, well, ever since probably that, going back to 2003, and you see some people and you think, things are not too bad really.
Yeah.
You know, when you see other people.
You put it into perspective.
You put it into perspective,
Yeah. you know.
I know, but at the beginning on things like that, when you've got that, it's not easy to be unemotional.
Yeah.
You've got a severe, which for me it was the end of the world to begin with. Cancer, Jesus, you know, what is this?
Bit pain, bit of indignity or whatever, but all that was diminished by the knowledge of a sexual breakdown, as it were. You know, the fact that you're becoming less of a man because of that. How did you feel about that?
Don't forget, I had 5 children then, so things weren't, in that other part of the world, were not the important thing. The important thing was really to try and get back into a healthy state and get back into normal life, really. That was the aim, family-wise, grandchildren, life in general, just to get back.
So
and then, you know, when I saw the specialists who did the operation, it was just to help you and then you realise you really weren't on your own. Friend down the road had it 4 years ago. You know, you just don't think about things like this. And then, since then, there's quite a few of the guys who I know have got it. And I said, well, no, just... But when you hear that word cancer, it is the end, isn't it? But the people... And you talk about that PSA, I could never remember what it actually stood for anyway. You know, the guy could say, well, it's at 4.5, it was just apparently mine. Didn't mean nothing to me. And then he said, you know, it could go up to a few hundred. So I thought, well, 4.5...
I'm in the low count.
4.5 doesn't seem that dangerous. Apparently, it could go up to that. I mean, I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
This is a spec. He said it can go up to a few hundred.
What is it now? Do you know?
No. And you know something? I don't particularly want to know.
Really?
No.
So I did 33 sessions of radiotherapy. So PSA disappears again,
Right.
0.1, and now it's back again.
Okay. You get me worried now?
No.
Yeah.
I don't worry you. You never worried
No,
when you
I
were
don't
in...
particularly want to know, but every time I've been, they've not told me anything, really, just say everything's okay.
Well, listen, Dennis, if they tell you it's okay, they'll soon tell you.
Yeah,
it's not.
I'm sure.
So you're safe
All right,
knowledge.
yeah,
Don't worry about me. But you know, you've got to have a fairly optimistic outlook in this with this disease, haven't you?
Well, I think you get to a certain age that you've done a lot in life and whatnot, and if it's got to come to an end, it's got to come to an end. But I'm looking forward to going to see the specialist in November now, because he doesn't tell me anything. He just said everything's okay.
How much did you know about it then?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Since 2003, they know more about prostate than they did, 11 years ago. There's a lot more help for people who have got it and get it. And also, the people who run that are making people more aware. If they have any problem in that area, they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Go and see the doc. Get them there. It's to get, guys, you don't go. You don't want to go. You don't want to say you're ill or whatever. Just, it's only a wee ache. I don't want to.
You're sitting here looking very well.
Yeah.
A man who's got prostate cancer, but is fighting it and fighting it well.
Yeah, well, you've as I say, when you have something like that, I've said it before in the interview, that, you look at some other people. A friend of mine always said to me, if you ever feel really bad, just have a walk around a hospital ward. And he said, you'll come out and you'll think, things are not too bad.
Sure.
Carry on.
Denis Law, thank you so much.
Pleasure. So guys, if you have any doubt whatsoever, sign up with Movember, try and grow a moustache, and if you do feel any pain, definitely go and see the doctor at once.